What's up again, YouTube? We're doing another update video on the SX4 part 5. Yesterday I did a video about the timing chain install and the tensioner install and how to get the timing chain set properly for top dead center. And I was skeptical that I think I had jumped a tooth on the chain, and I was skeptical yesterday when I was going through it on the video. So today I went back and checked it again. I did a bunch of rotations on this motor to get the timing marks on the chain back up to where they're supposed to be. So this is how you're supposed to install it. I'm just going to go over it real quick because this is not how I did it in the previous videos. But now that I had to recheck it, I'm just going to show you quickly how to actually set this thing up. So again, make sure the cam marks are right on. See those two lines right there? Those need to be lined up right here. And that line right there needs to be lined up for the intake cam. And then the exhaust cam, there's a little dot, there's that line, and then there's a dot with a line right there. So that's where it's supposed to be for the exhaust cam when you're setting up the timing chain for top dead center. And also what I didn't talk about yesterday was the marks on the chain, which I had forgotten about. There's two links on this chain that are a little darker. I don't know if you can see it, but see that link right there is a little bit darker. The one that's on the line. It's kind of hard to get it with the camera because all the brake lines are in the way, as you can see. But here, see how that link is a little bit darker right there on the line for the intake cam? And then on the exhaust cam, same thing. See that link right there with the green little spot is on the dot for the timing mark on this one. So that's how you know the chain is on properly. This is when you go to reinstall the chain. So you got that dot and that line and that line. And you got the green mark, and I guess that's what the green mark on the bearing cap right there, the cam cap is. I guess that green mark means the green link right there. And then on the bottom for the crank, there should be see the dot. There's two dots. There's one on the actual crank, and then there's one on the block. And you can see the colored, the darker colored link there. And you can see that it's off a tooth. This dot on the crank, that little tiny one, should be one tooth over to the right. Should be above the dark colored link. And that should be pointed to that bigger dot on the block there, the little divot. So you can see I'm off by one link. You can tell by the teeth right there, there's one tooth in between. The dot's kind of like in between. So this is what you don't want to have happen before you put it all back together, because then it's going to be a nightmare. You're going to have to take it all apart again. So make sure that little dot is right above the colored link, and that colored link is right above that larger divot there on the actual block. And that's when you know you're top dead center here. And then you'll be able to put it back together. So now that I'm off a link, what I have to do, if you do find out that you're off a link and you have to go back, what you're going to have to do now is you're going to have to remove the tensioner again. That tensioner down there, which is two 12mm bolts right here. This thing right here, two 12mm bolts. That's got to come out. You can't do this job. You can't jump the chain again unless that's out, because there's too much tension on that plastic rail right there. So once you get that out, you can take this rail out if you want. It's a 14mm right here. It kind of makes it a little bit easier, but you don't need to. You can just kind of move it to the left with your hand once that tensioner is out of the way. I'm going to see if I can just take the tensioner out and leave the plastic rail, the guide rail, and just kind of get enough slack in the chain so that I can turn the crank back one little turn, get the chain back on, and we should be set. Then I don't have to go through the hassle of resetting or reloading that tensioner again, which is kind of a hassle. I talked about it in the last video. Maybe this time when I do it, I'll do a video on it this time, just to really show you how to reset that thing, because it's a little tricky. So then I'll put that back in. Good thing with that thing is that there's no gasket, so I don't have to worry about replacing a gasket or anything like that, or an O-ring. It just goes right onto the block with two 12mm bolts. But the bolts, I think you put a little thread locker on there, a little blue, what the heck's it called? I don't know, can't remember the name of it, but the brand name. But anyways, it's like blue thread lock, so it won't be too hard to get out, but just enough to keep it, you know, snug in the threads there on the block, so it doesn't back off when the damn motor's running, you blow the damn thing apart. So Yeah, so that's all I just wanted to go through today. Show you my little screw up, which is kind of good because I caught it. And I'll go back and redo it. So see, once again, colored link on the line. See, there you go, colored link on the line. You got the link over here with the green. Kind of hard to see with these lines, with all the air conditioning lines and shit in the way. See that link? It's green, little green dot. And then you want this one. You want those three to line up. The little dot, the dark link, and the divot. You want those to line up. See, mine's a little bit off to the left by 1 tooth, so I'll have to go back and change it. But cool. All right. Well, that's gonna be that for now. I'm gonna try to get that done tomorrow. And then once I know that's all set, putting the timing cover on is gonna be another nightmare. But we'll get to that when I get to that. It's just a nightmare because it's a really close fit and it's all RTV. There's no gaskets, so it's gonna be a really interesting to if I can even get it in there without smearing the RTV everywhere before it goes into place. I might try to put some RTV on the block and the oil pan, and then maybe half on the actual timing cover. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I'm gonna do like a dry run to see how hard it is to get it down in there without touching the sides. And then that'll be it. Once that thing's in, it's pretty much easy peasy by that point. I'll just have to throw the manifold on, which is quick, and then the radiator and all that stuff, which I got new ones because this car was overheating, had a radiator issue. So yeah, that's gonna be it. If you haven't watched the other videos on this, I take the whole head off, inspect the head gasket because this car was overheating. I show how to remove the head without having to take the water pump or the air conditioning condenser or the power steering pulley. You don't have to take any of that stuff off. You don't actually have to take the manifold off either, but I ended up taking it off after the head came off just because it's easier to reinstall the water pump. You don't have to take the water pump off, but I did afterwards because I wanted to inspect it, make sure the impellers, the props and stuff, everything are alright, and the bearings are okay. So I do a video on how to get that out and in with this long ass pipe that goes to the back. That's why it's easier to take the exhaust manifold off, because to get this out and reinstalled is kind of difficult with the manifold in. And then that'll be it. Just kind of button it up, and we'll see how it runs. So hopefully it doesn't overheat. All right, wish me luck, and I'll make another video about that, reloading that tensioner, because that thing is tricky. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get to it. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.